You're watching Halton News right here on your TV. It's Tuesday, August 18th. I'm your host, Sherry Ford, in for Jessica Kading. Good news over the weekend. The total active COVID cases in the Halton region have gone down by 1 to 30. But despite the overall numbers going down, there has been a rise in cases in Halton Hills. They have seen a rise from 2 to 4 current cases. Milton's cases have stayed the same at 8. Oakville has gone down 1 case to 11, and Burlington's numbers have dropped from 9 to 7 active cases. There are only 3 weeks left until school opens, and the Halton Catholic District School Board is still stuck in limbo. Despite a record-setting meeting last week that took over 6 hours discussing the return to school plan, the HCDSB is no closer to answers on what exactly school will look like. Teachers, parents, and roughly 36,000 students are still waiting to be told how the return to physical class would be handled amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Halton District School Board has extended their deadline for parents to declare whether they are intending to choose in-classroom learning or online education. While trying to make this difficult decision, Nikki Wesley spoke with a former teacher turned homeschooler to get advice for parents on helping to educate at home.
Halton parents are currently determining if they will be sending their kids for in-classroom learning, choosing e-learning, or trying their hand at homeschooling come this September. Megan Jackson has been homeschooling her 3 sons for the last 8 years. What would her tips be for parents trying to help facilitate learning at home?
Don't panic is the first one, because everyone is in the same situation. And your children are going to learn in spite of you. They are curious, and it's just a natural part of life that they're going to learn something. But you could help by establishing some rhythm and routine to your life.
Oh my gosh, that's made of sand?
Yeah, remember that face? Who made it? Have some type of plan so that they know what to expect during the day and to keep that consistent. That'll just help you with a lot of the chaos that might happen. And try to establish some learning times as well. Whatever works best for your family, whether that's during nap time for the youngest, or if you like to just do that in the morning to get that done. But your learning at home is not going to be the same as learning at school.
It was a struggle for many trying to educate at home at the beginning of the lockdown. A key lesson to help new homeschoolers.
Explore what your child is interested in. That's where the real learning is going to jump in and explode. Because if your child is interested in what they're learning, the whole goal of education is learning how to learn. And you can facilitate that as well as helping with the assigned work that's sent home, but also going out on your own and looking things up, finding interesting books, going places to feed into that natural curiosity that they have.
If you've chosen online learning at home, Jackson says it may still be possible to include your child's interests. For example, if your child is given a writing assignment, inquire with the teacher if they could write about something they are naturally curious about.
Work with your teachers. They are trying to engage your students, and so any information you can give them about what your students are into, that really helps, because the government's been pushing more for inquiries and what the students are interested in. Especially, I know in the kindergarten, that's huge, right? And the teachers are working with whatever the kids are interested in. Then that's now what the unit that we're studying.
What about high school students?
I would say just more depends on what their future plans are. So if you know that the schooling is going to be more of a requirement for university, college, or whatever they're going into, then you're going to want to make sure that you're focusing more on that so that they can excel and really do well with that. And it's not to say that the elementary students don't worry about that, because I'm certainly not saying that, but there's just a little more wiggle room.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
The 2020 conference of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario has a totally new look this year. It's all virtual. But more than ever, AMO members, partners, and key stakeholders need this forum to come together during this pandemic. Halton mayors and councillors are taking part in this first ever virtual conference this week. Regional Councillor Mike Cluett talks about its importance and what he thinks will be the top issue.
With AMO, it's a group of municipalities. It's all the municipalities in Ontario, the 444 members, and we meet on an annual basis to elect board of directors. AMO is sort of a voice for municipalities when negotiating with the province or with the federal government as well, to talk about issues that are important to municipalities. For some, it's transit. For some, it's infrastructure. Milton covers all of these as well because we're such a growing municipality. One of the things that we were discussing this week is going to be rural broadband, which has really come into focus now because of COVID, and has really really exposed the holes that we have in our communities when it comes to reliable internet. There was a seminar from Halton region this past week talking about the holes that are in Halton region, Brookville, Campbellville, in the rural areas. Parts of Oakville and Burlington as well are suffering from slow internet. And with the advent of obviously more video conferencing and more work that has to be done online, it's very important for municipalities to gain access to quality broadband. And this is why the municipalities are getting together to discuss this, the reason why it's important for their municipalities and their areas. And it's not just people coming home watching Netflix or streaming videos online. This is for farmers as well, because farmers rely on GPS technology. They rely on the internet in order to for the production of their produce. This is like I said, it's hampering our farming community, especially in our rural areas. And one of the things that AMO wants to bring to the focus during some of these sessions is the importance of it, and impressing upon both the province and the federal government to work with the telecom companies to get some action taken.
Premier Doug Ford spoke at today's AMO conference and said all 444 municipalities have the backing of the provincial government during these tough times of living through a pandemic, saying he won't rest until every Ontarian is back on their feet.
This morning, I spoke to representatives from Ontario's 444 municipalities. My friends, it's never been more important to stand together with our municipal partners. And I know that COVID-19 has taken a terrible toll on every community across the province, but I want our municipalities to know that we'll always have your backs. We will get through this together, and we're making steady progress. On average, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen less than 100 daily new cases. Businesses are opening their doors and hiring back people as part of stage 3. We're firing up our economic engine once again. In June and July, Ontario added back 528,000 jobs. That's 500,000 people back to work. Over 90% of jobs recovered to pre-COVID levels. It's absolutely incredible. And we're going to keep going. We won't stop until every community is back on their feet. That's why we fought and delivered up to $4 billion for our municipalities through the Federal Safe Restart Agreement. Working with our federal partners, we're providing billions of dollars to help municipalities deliver critical services people rely on every single day.
Halton Regional Police are investigating a serious crash between a Burlington transit bus and a car Monday afternoon that injured 2 people and sent a man to hospital. The crash occurred at the Upper Middle Road and Heaton Road just after 1 p.m. The driver of the car was trapped in his vehicle before being extricated by Burlington firefighters. The driver of the bus also sustained injuries. Anyone with information is urged to call the police at 905-825-4747. Some great news for sports enthusiasts. Burlington Parks and Rec are opening up more recreational facilities, including rinks and indoor pools. Burlington City Council also approved a rental rate reduction of 25% and added more funds to support recreation fee assistance to help anyone who needs it. Fall recreation programs and registration dates will be posted soon. Nikki Wesley spoke with Virox Technologies' Nicole Kenny to get tips on how to keep ourselves safe when returning to doctors' offices and other appointments that have recently reopened.
If I'm going to go out and say go to a doctor's appointment, there's questions that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to learn not to be bashful. And I don't always, prior to COVID wasn't always very good at this, but ask them to wash your hands. So if they're coming into their office or the exam room and you haven't seen them wash their hands or use hand sanitizer, ask them. You don't know what they've been touching before they come in to see you. If they come in already with masks and gloves on, again, ask, do they change their mask between patients, or if you're at a spa or salon to have your nails done between clients, because everything, other people's pathogens are going to go on the mask, and so you really want to be careful about that. And if you're seeing them with gloves, again, ask them to wash their hands. The other thing that I would look at is if I'm stuck in an exam room, snoop, look around. Do they have their disinfectant in there? And then read the label. Does it have a 10-minute contact time? Does it have a 1-minute contact time? Don't be scared to ask them, how frequently are they cleaning and disinfecting? And the answer better be between every client. And if you are coming in and you've seen them wipe down and you're immediately in there and you've seen that their label is a 10-minute contact time, well, you know that we've probably not disinfected the surface. And are they using a Health Canada approved product? So we want to make certain that the products they're using actually have a drug identification number, and that needs to be on the front panel of the product. And so look at that. And I think when we're booking our appointments, we're generally being told now that they're going to ask us a set of questions, and so why don't you interview them before you book your appointment? Ask them, what are they doing for their hand hygiene, for their cleaning and disinfection, and make certain that their answers are making you comfortable so that you're going to be okay when you go into that appointment.
As we are returning or about to return to work, the Empathy Clinic has a message for you. Take the time to understand exactly what you're made of and try to find the right balance inside to make you whole.
Hi, this is Dr. Ashik Bhattacharya speaking to you from the Empathy Clinic here in Oakville during the pandemic. So today I want to talk about ingredients. We all have ingredients inside of us. And also, when we get back to work, there's going to be ingredients, which are the people that we work with, plus the environment that we're working in. The best way to manage return, whether it's to ourselves or to our environment that we're working in, is to look at all the ingredients separately first. So imagine that there's a part of us, maybe our compassion, our capacity to say no, maybe even our self-esteem that might need a complete overhaul. It's going to be very important to look at those things separately. So maybe take a piece of paper and write down everything about yourself that feels like an ingredient of you. If you have trouble with that, ask a friend or a family member. They'll often be quite happy to help you with that. And you can help them with theirs next. Now, let's see if we can look at all the ingredients of a cake on a counter. Individually, separately, they're not very palatable. But that's the time when we can change the overall balance, when they're separate. Once we've mixed them together in that goo and then put them in the oven and bake them, now we have a much more palatable thing, a lovely cake. So I want to think that if you can see yourself as having ingredients that you could actually change during this time, then not too salty and certainly not too sweet, then you can have the right balance of the ingredients inside you. Perfect blend. And that can apply to your company or your business of work as well. Looking at people who are working together as ingredients. So stay safe and see you next time.
Thank you for joining us here on Halton News. We need to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to Halton News right here on your TV. The Halton Hills Public Library has reopened completely, but with some modifications, of course. Melissa Candelaria has more.
The Halton Hills Public Library is a welcoming distraction for residents who are finally able to come back and enjoy the facility once again. Manager of Community and Adult Services Beverly King says the staff is just as excited as their visitors.
We've had so many conversations with and questions from the public on when they could get in to browse. So it was great. You could come and pick up your holds, but the fact that you can now come in and browse and pick what you want off the shelf, and you can come in and use our spaces in our study rooms. Creativity Center is open downstairs for the adults, as well as the computers. So we're just thrilled that people are actually in, and can't believe how many people have been in today. It's been fantastic.
With the library being fully open, King says there are measures in place to ensure safety.
The first and the most important thing is when you come into the facility, there is an ambassador there to greet you right at the door, and they have a screening protocol in place, pre-COVID screening, and it's also about contact tracing. So if you have been here, you get informed later. If there has been an outbreak, you'll get that information so that you know that you should be tested as well. That said, once you come in, there is a QR code for a quick and easy scan. There's also a website so you can do the pre-screening before you arrive, and all you have to do is show your phone and show the little check mark. And then once you come in, masks, I have mine here as well, but they are mandatory within the building according to the region's bylaw. So we do have masks for anyone who forgets, but a limited supply.
The library also has signage and markers in place to encourage social distancing and hand sanitization. Meanwhile, if you're wondering about signed out items, well, King says they have implemented quarantine measures for that too.
All of those materials that are returned in any of our book drops are quarantined for 72 hours before they are checked in. And then any items that are used in-house where you've actually sat down to read them. If you've just browsed an item and picked it up and put it back on the shelf, that's fine. But if you've actually decided to sit down and read a magazine or a book, then we have quarantine bins located through the branch. So where you can put that in there, and then those bins are collected at the end of the day. All the items in those bins are collected and quarantined as well before they're put back into circulation.
Despite the extra work having to modify protocols in order to open safely, King says it's all worth it. She says the library is more than just the materials they lend.
They are connecting people. It's about relationship building and community building, and it's been so awe-inspiring to see the support that we've had throughout the closure, and that people are so grateful to be back.
And that is certainly true for these library fans.
You're excited? What's so exciting?
That it's opening up a little bit.
What about you?
My name's Alina and I'm really excited because I love reading and it's so fun.
What do you like about the library?
I like reading because I like playing with the giant robot because I like it.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
Taking a look at the weather and the 5-day forecast, tomorrow expect some more showers with a high of 24. Wednesday, sunny and 23 degrees. Thursday, sunny and 26. Friday will be a hot one, 29 with a mix of sun and cloud. And Saturday, partly cloudy and 27. While summer may look a little different this year, Your TV wants you to share your summer. Head over on to Your TV Halton on Facebook and comment with a picture of what you're doing this summer. You could win a weekly prize pack or even a grand prize of $500 to support a local business. Remember to tag Share Your Summer. To sports, and it's really no surprise, but it's official now. The Canadian Football League has canceled its 2020 season due to COVID-19. The 9-team league has been working feverishly towards a shortened 9-week season in the hub city of Winnipeg. The final dagger to the CFL season came when the federal government denied them a $30 million interest-free loan. CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosi said they are committed to next year and the 2021 season. Owner of the Ticats, Bob Young, released a statement today to its fans and partners expressing their disappointment, saying they will roll up their sleeves and get to work. With your help from Tiger Cats, we'll get through this as they have overcome previous challenges. Burlington athlete Brandon Ranka is at it once again. The adventure athlete who last year completed a triathlon with an 80-pound tree strapped to him is once again challenging himself. On August 14th, he will swim 10 kilometers with an 80-pound tree tied to him, cycle 200 kilometers, run a 100-kilometer ultramarathon, and finish it off with a 100,000 pound total weight lift consisting of bench press, squats, and deadlifts. It's all expected to take him over 30 continuous hours to complete. This will be the second time Ranka has made use of an 80-pound tree stump he nicknamed Groot for his athletic pursuits. Ranka is raising money for the Toronto Sick Kids Foundation in this event. Anyone interested in donating can do so at www.sickkidsfoundation.com. To business, and both the Halton Hills and Burlington Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their 2020 golf tournaments next month. The Halton Hills tournament is scheduled for Monday, September 21st at the Blue Springs Golf Club in Acton. The cost is $149 plus HST. The Burlington tourney, called For Your Business, will be held the next day on September 22nd at the Hidden Lake Golf Course. Now, let's take a look at today's closing markets. Thank you for joining us here on Halton News. We need to take a short break, but we'll be right back with an update from the Burlington Food Bank. Welcome back to Halton News right here on your TV. I'm Sherry Ford in for Jessica Kading. The Burlington Food Bank has been providing us with daily updates during the pandemic. Today, they want to spread the word that they will be ready if a second wave of COVID hits.
Right now, I should actually be in Cambridge for the Feed Ontario conference, which I'm really looking forward to. We've gone virtual this year, though, and looking forward to the courses. Today, the course that I'm going to be taking is actually based on getting ready for the second wave. So it's really important that we continue to do all of the proper things as far as hand washing and making sure that we don't touch our faces, wearing masks, all the proper protocols, but knowing that things may start to slip and being prepared for a second wave of COVID with school coming back in and all kinds of different things that may lead towards that. Last week we talked with Eric over at Joseph Brand Hospital, and they're prepared for it as well. And so it's important for us to always be looking ahead to make sure that as a food bank, we're prepared for whatever that might be. Whether it be making sure that we continue with our sanitizing protocols that we keep doing, and making sure that we're also following all of the things that we're asked to do as far as supporting the people within our community. Again, thank you so much for continuing to support the Burlington Food Bank, and looking forward to this week as I continue to learn more and more about what we're doing as far as food banks go here in Ontario.
Thanks for watching, Halton, and have a great night.